Every person has to examine their own hearts. They have to sit down with God and understand where they are at and why they think the way they do. They can go before God and say, well, I know that's not me. I would never do that. I could never do that. Well, you'd be surprised without God what you can do. And the end results of it are real plain sometime. Because he says, do men gather figs or thistles? Which do they gather? Do they gather the fruits of the Spirit, or do they gather thorns and things that prick and hurt? Things that hurt other people, especially. Am I talking about uh, people that you should never judge? If you're not in authority to judge, then you should never judge. If you have the authority to sit in judgment, that's still another story. But if you don't question your own heart now, why would I do this? Why would I think this way? Why would I want this? Why do I pick this up? Why, Lord? Give me a good reason why I do, why I would, or why I should. Give me understanding for who and what I am and what I'm doing. Help me to discard the things that I should not be thinking, the things I should not be doing. Help me to keep those things that are righteous and true according to you. Help me, Lord God, to keep justice and not revenge. You know, there's such a thing is somebody comes into your home and they invade it and they rape your children and they mutilate them or they kill them. And you want justice for that. You want, according to the law, you want them caught so they don't do that to anybody else. That's justice. That's not revenge. That's justice. Because you could forgive them instantly. You say, Father, I forgive them. But if you are wise, you will never let them be free enough to do it again. There's a difference between forgiving and letting. You let them go again, like, some people bail criminals right out to go back on the street to plunder and do whatever they want to anybody else. And they say that's the right thing to do because we are doing this and we are doing that and we are entitled. We are entitled because our ancestors went through this and our ancestors went through that. But forgiveness, beginning with forgiving what was done to your ancestors, would have blessed you more than you becoming an evil person that doesn't know the difference between right and wrong, that doesn't know it's wrong to kill and to murder, to covet and to destroy. You see, you become exactly what you hate. Everything that you claim to hate, you have become. And that is because you have listened to the strum of emotions and memories and all the feelings of the past come upon you of how horrible it was that grandma suffered this or mama suffered that. And all of that comes back to you and you begin to hate instead of forgiving. When you forgive, oh, you've got to be wise enough to forget, but to never let that happen to you again. You see, that is why you get all tangled up into revenge. Because you don't know that if you're wise, you can see to it in prayer that that never happens to you again. But it keeps on happening because you keep trying to do it to someone else. When you are in a position that you keep on striving to blame others, striving to do things with others, and you say, and I'm going to give you an example. The imagination of a heart is a very clear example of what I'm going to talk about. You do things and you say things motivated by the part of your heart that you can't see. But because you can't see it, you just know you would never do that. And if anybody would dare to say to you, well, that's what you want this or you want that, and because you can't see it, you will condemn them for saying that to you. But yet, all of your actions and all the things that you have done and all the things that have happened to you prove that you are in that condition. Because you see, you can't stop that. You can't change that. It proves you are in that condition. So you can deny, 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 and say, well, I know I would never do that. I ask nobody for nothing. I don't demand anything off of anybody. But then, when you're in need, I'll give you 5, 10 seconds of talking, and out it will come. Out the truth will come. When you have a pure heart, to the pure all things are pure. Okay, but if you're a prophet and God gives you a message and it doesn't seem pure to others, it doesn't matter. Because I would be afraid to not give a message God gave me. No matter what I thought, I might think, and I've done it, I might think, wow, you're not as bad as I thought. God's really been helping you. And God will come and check me and say, Marion, if you are in agreement with her or him, you're following a demon. And he'd show me the demon and I'd go, ah! And God say, don't listen to them. Don't talk to them. Don't answer them. Have nothing to do with them. They are deep in sin and do not want to repent to do it the right way. They will twist and turn until they make you as evil as they are. That's what a snake does. They'll twist and turn, and you grab a hold of them and they'll twist and turn to do anything to get out of it. The serpent will do and say anything to get out of it. He will take the imagination of your heart and hide in a corner, and you won't even know he's there until you come to a place and say, is it I, Lord? Like the disciples did to Jesus when he said, one of you will betray me. Am I capable of doing that? You see, they were wise enough to know. They did not know their own heart, and they wouldn't dare tell God, well, I know I would never do that. They knew the moment they spoke that they could be condemned because of their pride, saying, I would never, I know me. You don't know me, God knows me. Well, have at it. See how far it gets you. See where it gets you. Revenge and justice are two different things. Revenge is where you remember what was done to you, and you can't get that out of your brain. They had no business saying that about me. They had no business doing that about me. They had no business doing that to my mother, to my father, to anybody. I mean, I can't count the amount of times I could have hated someone and hurt them for beating my mother. I could have done it and hated for the rest of my life these people that were responsible. But you see, Jesus Christ, I died and he lived, and I was able to look into their eyes as they died and them see Jesus and peace and see that they were loved enough to praise the Lord as they were dying. But when you only say that, you have that, and you're not living it. When you hate, I mean hate, a certain color of people, and you claim that you are the only color that matters, and I don't care if you're white or black, because there was white people doing the same thing that the black people were doing. White matters. All of life matters. No matter what color you are, no matter what country you come from, you are part of God's creation, and all of you matter. But you raise up in racism the very thing that you hate and claim these others have done to you. You are worse than they were because you have worse. You force them to their knees to admit their guilt to something they never did, to something maybe their ancestors did, but it was something they themselves never did. But you make them feel guilty because your race did this. Well, you know what? I have no guilt over what my ancestors did. And I mean, I did not come from the best background, but I have no guilt. I didn't do it. And it happened before I was born. So how could I be responsible? So when you come to me and you tell me that I am responsible for what happened to you, I won't pick that up because it's not my cross, it's yours. And I don't get mad at you and I don't hold it against you. What I do with it is I tell God, I forgive you. And then from there, I don't expect justice because this is just an offense. But justice when you are doing bodily harm to somebody and you are helping others do bodily harm and you are destroying and burning down what they own and what they have and robbing and taking it. Now that needs justice. Not revenge, justice. But the people of this nation are so mixed up. They start thinking that because you want justice for people to stop thinking it's okay to go up to another race and point blank shoot them and get away with it. You think that's okay. There's no God in that. None whatsoever. Actually, it's a form of blasphemy that is so bad. You who preach not to commit murder, do you commit murder? You who preach and teach not to commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You that preach and teach and you are a leader of the blind, you lead all of these people like a Pied Piper. You know what is right and you know what is wrong and you can dig all the way back and you can tell all through your ancestors that these people are wrong while you stand there worse than they are. Worse. Because you have picked up the wrong thing to fight for. Now, because the media supports you, because people won't tell you to your face what is true. Inside, they hate your guts, but they won't tell it to you. They think you're wrong, but they want to use you. And you are so foolish that you literally believe that everything is okay because they pat you on the back and you're going to be okay. I told you, your friends are not the people that help you. Your enemies are the people that bring you to your knees, where you question God and say, is it I standing in the need of prayer? And when God tells you it is you, then you ask Him to help set you free, to heal you and deliver you, that you never think like that again. That you never look at another person to condemn them for something their ancestors did. That you never look at them to hate them for something they never did. And the other person on the other side that has this guilt feels bad because you have nothing and they have. If you worked for it all of your life and God blessed you with it, why do you listen to that evil spirit tell you you should feel guilty because you have and they don't? Like I told you before, I went for years without nothing. Everywhere I went, everybody had something, even family. They had people they could talk to, people they could be friends with. I didn't have that. I had people that hated me. people that lied and did everything against me, I didn't have anything. I had no money. I had nothing for years and years and years. And I did not go to any person and say, but you don't understand. I'm suffering so bad. You don't know what it's like. Poor you. You have enough self-pity that just overwhelms you, where you can't see the truth. Poor you. Now there are people through no fault of themselves that have nothing, and I pray for them daily. They're out in the cold, Lord, and before winter comes, all they have is a cardboard box. I don't know why they're in that condition. I don't even care. I only know that they need to be warmed. I only know that perhaps some of them don't even understand. But I haven't heard any of them claim to know it all. It's the ones that claim to know it all are the ones that get judged by God really harshly. You know, when you strum the emotions of someone due to their race, due to their culture, due to whatever they believe, and you strum that and you produce hatred, lies, deception, violence, you produce that out of these people to get your own way. You won't go and kill because you don't want to go to jail, so you'll incite them. Go do. You'll incite them. And then when you see someone else who is asking people to go prayerfully, you say they're inciting. You've been inciting for so long, but they're inciting. Oh, you have the smoothest talking people that can say so smoothly. And because they can take, because of their position, they have men's persons in advantage, just like Jude says. You can find them in Jude. Every time God tried to plant them in the water of the Word, they got plucked up. They foam out their shame with all the evil that they make good. They literally froth it out, and they call evil good and good evil without shame. We live in a land, and not just this country. It's all over the world, but it's been all over the world. It just recently seemed to overtake this country. We don't live in the land of the free anymore. We live in the land that says that if you are not us, you're garbage. That's exactly what a totalitarian government does. If you do not obey us, follow us, and do as we say, you're nothing. Wow, I know of religion way out in the open where everybody can see that believe that evil is good and good is evil, that Satan is God and God is Satan. Because God will hold you responsible, but Satan will let you do whatever you want. He gives you freedom. Why, you could murder, you could hate, you could kill, you could rape, you could do anything you want, and you're free. You're just absolute. Oh, how exhilarating, I would hear them say, to be free to do anything. That you could really enjoy the carnage and you could really enjoy the hatred. You could really enjoy the revenge. It's a sad day whenever you see justice come. It's not a time to rejoice. When it comes, it's a sad day. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He has trampled out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. Right now, God is tramping out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. All that you built up that was evil and said was good is being tramped on. Right now, you're going to see it all change. Because you see, it is God who is good, not the devil. It is God who is holy, not the devil. It is God who is righteous, not the devil. And so where you see plundering, murder, uh, evil being called good, children being raped and put into slavery, when you see all that, there's no question that's evil. And when you help people get into office that you know support that and do that, you're going to be responsible as they are. And when a time comes that God pours out a blessing on his children, it's as bad as it's like I used to tell one person, hey, when the wrath of God falls on you for what garbage you chose, I don't want to be there. I'm going to be right here. Stay away from me. I don't want no parts of what you're calling good because I know it, according to the word, it's evil. Well, it's just like that. When the blessings of God pours out on his children, you are going to be with your nose pressed up against a glass, looking and longing for the day that you could have had in blessing. But you chose to covet, to hate, to destroy. You chose to do that. So your choice is going to fall right on your head. And it's already coming on some. When they judge and condemn the innocent, when they deliberately force into slavery little 13-year-old girls whose belly hurts so bad from being hungry, who are nothing but skin and bone and can barely walk, and you force them to dance in slavery labor. You force them to do these things. And you say, well, I didn't do it. So-and-so over there did it. I'm not responsible. That doesn't make you not responsible. That doesn't make you before God not responsible when you could have voted not to have that person that feeds that and brings it all into this country. When you had the power to vote them out, you didn't do it. And God gives you how many chances to do it? You think that when God transforms and he's going to change everything. Just like all of you fake prophets prophesied, God is going to have a transference of money. And everything that this culture had, that they earned, that they worked for, you're going to take and God is going to give it to you. And it doesn't matter if you murder to get it. Oh my. There's not a person in the world that can think like that. There's not a person in the world that can get away with doing that in the sight of God. Because you see, there is a God. And he is righteous, and he is holy, and he never changes. And the one thing he asks of everybody is forgiveness. But you see, when justice comes, you can forgive them, but don't let them do it again. But when the revenge comes, it's not a matter of forgiving them. It's a matter of destroying them willfully and deliberately so you can keep what you have. This one on this side is looking for justice to stop the operation of evil. That's justice. This is revenge and hatred and evil, making good evil and good evil. There's two different things. You figure it out what I'm talking about. I don't have to.